What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all well, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. So, as I mentioned at the end of the last Let's Play, today is going to be a little bit of a long episode. Well, actually, it's the same day. I just got back from my afternoon workout, figured I'd record another video. Just got done swinging my big hammer around. Like I was talking about last episode, mace bow training is the truth. Honestly, when I get done with a workout with the mace, it just feels like I've had an entire full body massage. Everything feels all loose and correct posture. Definitely would recommend, but you gotta start out extremely light, I think. It seems like it would be easy to hurt yourself with it if you don't practice and learn the skills first. Anyways, on more topical things, today we are going to be exploring the ruins of Ostagar. We're going to get a lot of cool lore about this place, and positionally, anybody who watched the last episode with the codexes, positionally this is right on the edge of the Kakari Wilds, which is right here. This is the Kakari Wilds. Ostagar is positioned right on the edge. It was kind of, what do you say, civilization's last defense against the wilds. Kind of like the wall in the north of Game of Thrones. This is what the ruins of Ostagar are, essentially. I'm gonna get some really cool lore on this, explore the camp, meet some new NPCs, catch up with some old ones. I'm gonna meet some fan favorites today too, actually. It should be a good episode, but it will be a long one, so get some snacks, get some food, sit back and relax and enjoy. Start off by going up here. The Tower of Ishal. It's locked.
You don't want to go into the Tower of Ishal. It's off limits for now, I'm afraid.
We don't want to, huh? Why is that?
The Tower of Ishal is off limits. The men stationed inside are securing it now.
What is the Tower of Ishal?
I think they used it once to watch for wilders coming out of the forest.
Why is the tower off limits exactly?
By orders of Teyrn Loghain. The tower is being secured by his men to be used during battle. I'm told they discovered some lower chambers, and they don't know how far down they go, so for now, everyone's to stay out.
Lower chambers?
I didn't see anything like that when I was there, but who knows?
This is a pretty large ruin.
Goes back to the time of the Tevinter Imperium. Dwarven make. That's probably why it's still standing.
Indeed.
Make us speed your steps.
Fine dwarven crafts. You gotta be careful with the lower chambers, as he said. Darkspawn like to come from underground. The deep roads connect to a lot of places throughout Ferelden. Throughout the whole of Daedus, really, the deep roads have little pop-up connections all over the place. It's how the dwarves get around underneath in their kingdom, so... And the Darkspawn can kind of burrow up from the ground like locusts in Gears of War. Very unsettling.
Hail, you must be the Grey Warden recruit that Duncan brought.
Did I?
This place hasn't seen such bustle in centuries, I'll wager. Need a hand getting anywhere?
Where is Duncan's tent?
Not far. It's straight ahead, just past the royal encampment. Most of your fellas are in the valley with the army, but the recruits seem to be staying up here for now.
I'm looking for a Grey Warden named Alistair.
Try heading north. I think he was sent with a message to the mages.
Tell me about Ostagar.
Used to be a fortress long time ago, so I understand. Back in the days when the Wilders used to invade the lowlands. You were just on the eastern side of the ruin. The Tower of Ishal is there, but Teyrn Loghain's closed it off until the battle. This side is the King's camp. We've got the Grey Wardens here, the Circle of Magi, the Chantry. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting somebody important.
Is there anywhere to get supplies?
Quartermaster, he's just a bit to the northwest.
So we got Kings, Wardens, Mages. Busy, busy place. Where's the king?
Probably in his tent. He and Teyrn Loghain are on the southwest side of the camp. The king likes to spend time with his soldiers, though. Sometimes even without his bodyguard. Drives Teyrn Loghain wild, that does.
Likes to walk among the men. It's very good for morale. Circle of Magi is here.
A few mages, yes. They even brought those creepy quiet fellows, the Tranquil. Gives me the shivers when they talk, all cold and even. They're to the north of here, bunched up with a herd of Templars glaring at them. Can't miss it.
We'll actually chat to one of those Tranquil later. Do I hear dogs barking?
This is Ferelden, isn't it? The king has his kennels on the west side of camp. Stinks from all the hounds. These aren't cute puppies, though. Some of those dogs bite the Darkspawn and get too much of that blood in them. It's like poison. Slow, painful death. Terrible.
Poor pups. I want to ask you something else.
Go on then.
Nah, that's it. I'll be on my way.
Good luck to you then.
Yeah, something else with the dogs there with blight sickness. I talked about that a little bit in one of the other episodes about how blight just isn't monsters with swords. They literally corrupt and poison all life around them.
I'm sorry, but the mages must not be interrupted.
Is the mages doing some kind of ritual?
The mages must not be interrupted. Their spirits are in the Fade.
The Fade?
The Fade is the realm of dreams and the land of the dead, or so the mages tell us. Regardless, they are not to be disturbed, not even by Grey Wardens.
We read a little bit about the Fade during the Codex about the Maker, where it said that when he created humanity, he made humans' souls from a piece of the Fade, which is why they return there when they sleep. As you wish. Not gonna apologize to the Templar, but we'll respect his wishes.
We stand here in this hour. Good
Greetings, young man. You are Duncan's newest recruit, are you not? He's not a man easily impressed. You should be proud. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Wynne, one of the mages summoned by the king.
Pleased to meet you.
Well met, and good luck to you on the battlefield. To us all, in fact.
Will you be fighting beside the king?
Not precisely. The Grey Wardens will be on the front lines, not the mages. Still, we have our parts to play. To defeat the Darkspawn, we have to work together. It's not an idea everyone seems able to grasp.
Yeah, I imagine mages work best in the back lines, casting buffs like Flame Sword and yeeting fireballs over the infantry. You faced Darkspawn before?
Stragglers, yes. Not the vast horde the scouts speak of. I wonder, how much do you know of the connection between Darkspawn and the Fade?
I know the Fade is where you go when you dream.
Anytime your spirit leaves your earthly body, whether it's to dream or to die, it passes into the realm we call the Fade. It's home to many spirits, some benevolent, others far less so. At the heart of the Fade lies the Black City.
What's the Black City?
Some say the Black City was once the seat of the Maker. But when the mages from the Tevinter Imperium found a way into the city, it was tainted with their sin. That taint transformed those men, turning them into twisted reflections of their own hearts. And the Maker cast them back to the Earth, where they became the first Darkspawn. At least that's what the Chant of Light says.
That is indeed what we read about. And is that true?
It may be allegory, meant to teach us that our own evil causes human suffering. Or it may be true. It is as good an explanation as any for now.
I suppose it doesn't really matter how they came to be. All that matters is that they are and they need to be defeated. I'll just kill every Darkspawn I see.
A wise attitude. It's worked well for me in the past, but I'm certain Duncan has more.
Seems like a solid methodology.
Death is no failure, my friends.
Indeed. We've seen a lot of Wynne this game. Here's one of the Tranquil, the scout told us about.
That course of action is inadvisable.
I can see why people would find the way they speak kind of creepy.
Welcome, young man.
Who are you?
I am one of the Tranquil, my friend. I am of the Circle of Magi. But instead of casting spells and reading tomes, I spend my time enchanting. It is a time-consuming process, but invaluable. Enchantment provides the Circle its wealth. Certainly we would not get by on charity.
You speak very strangely. Why is that?
Allow me to put it this way. Do you know why those with magical talent are feared?
Because magic is powerful and dangerous.
It is dangerous beyond its power. Those with magical talent attract demons and spirits. We can be possessed easily, and thus become horrors known as abominations. Even those with minor talents attract hungry spirits. Anyone with the power may learn blood magic from these demons. Hence,
Indeed.
we are considered dangerous. This is our curse.
Or be possessed.
Thus, I was made tranquil, stripped of emotions and talent. I am no longer dangerous.
we're gonna be getting into the whole mage Templar situation a lot during this game, but I will say that mages have to be very, very cautious. You know, one bad day, they have one bad day, one asshole says one wrong thing to them, and all of a sudden they can be conjuring demons, and one abomination is strong enough to kill an entire village. So, how is someone made Tranquil?
Our forehead is branded with magic, which stills our talent and mind. The process is irreversible as far as I am aware.
I feel badly for you.
You do? I feel nothing. As the name suggests, my existence is quite peaceful. I am alive, productive, and no danger to anyone.
Alive
Surely
and
that is
productive.
not a terrible thing. Perhaps we may speak of something else. Do you need assistance?
So I have my own opinions on tranquility and the mage Templar issue, but one thing I will say is even the fact that of what we just learned, taking that at face value that they can become horrors or blood mages or possessed by demons, that alone means they need to be taught how to control their talent and how to not give in to demonic temptation. Otherwise, there goes the Village of Innocence. What is enchantment exactly?
It is the practice of folding magical lyrium into items first practiced by the dwarves. The Tranquil have learned their runes, and we use them to apply a variety of magical effects. We create the glow lights, as well as the magic staff or the flaming blade. The irony, perhaps, is that it is our very disconnection to our former talents that allows the Tranquil to work with lyrium so. A true mage could not.
Yeah, ironically, enchantment started with the dwarves, and like we read in the Origins, dwarves are completely immune to magic. They have major resistances to magic and thus cannot be mages, but they can enchant things with magic. And mages, after they are made tranquil and they lose their connection to magic, can also do that. It's a little interesting thing there. What sorts of enchantments are there?
Runes exist that hold the power of the elements that increase strength or swiftness. Almost any spell can be given permanency, given enough skill and lyrium. Naturally, the greater the power required, the more expensive the rune will become to create. True power comes with a price, as we know only too well.
Always does. We'll get some more on lyrium later in the game too. Let's go over here. We have Daveth and a soldier.
So, any last wishes I can help fulfill before you head into battle? Life is fleeting, you know. That pretty face could be decorating some Darkspawn spear this time tomorrow. Shall I take that quiet glare as a no? Oh, well, too bad.
Yeah, I think you blew it, Daveth.
Well, you're not what I thought you'd be.
What did you think I'd be?
Me? I was hoping for a comely lass with golden hair and terrible eyesight. The name's Daveth. It's about bloody time you came along. I was beginning to think they cooked this ritual up just for our benefit.
What do you know about this ritual?
I happened to be sneaking around camp last night, see, and I heard a couple of Grey Wardens talking. So, I listened in for a bit. I'm thinking they plan to send us into the wilds.
The wilds?
We're right on the northern edge of the Kukari wilds here, miles and miles of savage country. My home village isn't far, and I grew up on tales about the wilds. Even been in there a few times. Scary place.
Why would they send us into the forest?
Sounds like some kind of test. Maybe we'll hunt us a souvenir or two. It's all too secretive for me. Makes my nose twitch. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Like we have a choice.
I'll watch your back if you watch mine.
I suppose I could do that. Anyway, I expect it's time to get back to Duncan. That's where I'll be if you need me for anything.
He seems solid enough. A little sleazy, maybe. Maybe a little bit of a slime ball, but it seems like he's good enough at your back. Unless you're a comely lass with blonde hair.
Have you seen an elf running about? Young woman, red hair, carrying a suit of chain.
Can't say I have, no.
Blast it. Where did she go? That suit better be patched up when she gets back or by the maker up. Oh, Pardon my manners. My troubles are no concern of yours, I'm sure. I'm the quartermaster. Did you come for supplies?
Do you need help tracking this girl down?
Oh, I'm sure you have better things to do than run errands for me. I can find her myself.
What kind of supplies do you have?
Arms and armor, for the most part. It's for the King's men, but you Grey Wardens can buy what you need for a modest price. I also have some, goods on the side I can provide. Strictly off the record, of course. To keep morale up, you understand.
Of course. Let me see your other goods.
So long as you keep it quiet.
Alrighty, so as promised, I did say I would show you guys a little money thing you can do here. So, this is a bug that has been in this game for as long as this game has been out. They've never fixed it, so I don't know if it's intentional. They just didn't know how to fix it, or they wanted it here for people who like to get a lot of money early in the game. But basically, if you right-click in the marketplace, you can sell an item right here. You can also left-click and drag the item. So, to sell it twice, you left-click, then you right-click, drag it directly across, let go of your right-click, you see +4, then let go of your left-click, +8, and then you buy back, and then you resell. Buy back, resell. Like I said, this has been in the game for forever, for as long as I've had it. It is available on console too, but off the top of my head, I don't remember the keybinds on a controller to explain to you how to do this, but basically we're just gonna keep going here, get a decent chunk of gold off the rip. This is really useful for if you want to buy a lot of stuff the first time you go into the camp with Bodan Fedek. Because a cool little fact about Bodan is his inventory completely restocks after the first time you're in camp with him. Which means you can duplicate some of the strongest items in the game by going into your camp the first time with a shitload of coin. So we are going to make sure that we have at least 100 sovereigns here. So we can buy up as much stuff as we need from Bodan. And from Ostagar while we're here. Okay, perfect. So, first thing we're going to do is check some recipes. Nothing really of interest. Go ahead and make some cash back though. Is there anything we want here? Firebomb, Deathroot. Mabari Crunch is not bad. That's a health potion for your dog. I would recommend just buying every health poultice and injury kit you come across. More so the health poultice than the injury kits, but the injury kits are... they're useful too. I've never really found myself using any traps or things like that. Blank Vellum, you could just insta-sell whenever you see that you have one of those. Not necessary at all. Get rid of any scrap jewelry that we picked up along the way. Now, those gloves... I'll probably do some inventory management off camera at some point, but in general I do want to show the kind of things that you're looking for. So short bows, I would just insta-sell short bows. I wouldn't bother keeping them. Longbows are where it's at. More range, more damage. We don't need the dagger. Axes are pretty mid. I've never found much of a use for those, but if you like an axe, they're usable. See what he has at his regular stock. The main thing we want to get from this quartermaster is a backpack, because the inventory space in Origins is finite, and it is very useful to have more inventory space. They will always be in this other section, backpack right here. They add 10 slots to your inventory, now we have 80. There isn't that many places where you can pick those up either, so be aware. I'll make sure to point them out whenever we cross over. We'll go ahead and grab some lyrium potions. We need them for multiple things throughout the game. Mabari Crunch, of course. Get our dog some health, in case we decide to use them. In general, we're pretty good. We got this piece of Viridium from our dog back in High-Ever. That is 520 damage and 54 range. This is 4 and 5 AC. This piece of wood is insanely strong. That's the best find I've ever had. Believe it or not, it's also the first playthrough I've ever gotten that on too, so... we got the Let's Play look. I guess it really is a thing. We are just gonna basically do a big old loop around Ostagar. We're gonna talk to everybody. I'll probably split Ostagar into 2 parts. Well, no, I'll get Ostagar done completely this episode, and then I'll do the Kokari Wilds the next episode. And then we'll go from there.
Greetings. King Cailan is not in his tent right now.
Do you know where the king is?
I believe he's with the Grey Wardens in camp, drinking. He holds them in high regard, you know, as his father did.
Drinking the night before battle. So this is a persuasion check. Tell me about the king. You must see him a lot.
I suppose I do, though he's spending most of his time with the Grey Wardens. He rides with them wherever they go, in fact. Teyrn Loghain sees the king whenever he can and argues with him over coming battles, but the king just waves him off. The king wants to end the Blight with a single huge battle the bards will sing of for centuries. Do you think that's possible?
We'll see in the coming battle.
That's how the Teyrn feels. He'll do what the king wants in the end, though. The king thought it was funny that Teyrn called him reckless, and they fought about the queen.
I guess him riding around with the Wardens is where all the rumors are coming from of him being enraptured with the Order. The queen.
She's the Teyrn's daughter. He wasn't happy about something she did or the king did, I'm not sure. I probably shouldn't discuss it.
So Marik's son is married to Loghain's daughter. They connected their houses with the weddings, I see. Smart from Loghain's point of view.
You approach the tent of Teyrn Loghain. State your business.
Immediately, you see the difference between Cailan's god to Loghain's god. Loghain's god is way more down to business. Is the Teyrn inside? What is he doing? Oh, actually, tell me about Teyrn Loghain.
How can you not know of Loghain? He helped free Ferelden. He was the brains behind King Marik's armies and drove out those damned Orlesians. King Marik rewarded him by making him a Teyrn. Can you imagine? A commoner became a high nobleman just like that. Without Loghain, you can bet the king wouldn't be winning against these Darkspawn.
But based on what we read in the Codex, I believe that to be true. Is the Teyrn inside? What is he doing?
He's inside, but I don't think it's my place to discuss his activities.
Surely you can tell me a little about him.
I suppose, as long as we talk quietly. He and the king have been arguing for days. The Teyrn's known the king since he was swaddled, so they don't stand on ceremony. The Teyrn speaks his mind, and the king yells right back. Personally, I think the king should do what Teyrn Loghain tells him. Without the Teyrn, we wouldn't be doing as well here as we are.
Some unrest in the camp. I would like an audience with the Teyrn, please.
I suppose you have a message for him. Hold on, then.
Yes, what is it? Oh, you're Duncan's new Grey Warden, I assume.
The Loghain looks like he hasn't had a good night's sleep in his entire life. How do you know that?
His Majesty could not contain his excitement after your meeting. How could I not hear about you? Cailan's fascination with the Wardens goes beyond the ordinary. Are you aware his father brought your order back to Ferelden?
No, I didn't know that.
Marik respected the Grey Wardens. They have an honored place in the hearts of our people. But Marik would have understood that it takes more than legends to win a battle. That's not an argument I'll repeat here. You look familiar. Have I seen you at the Landsmeet?
My father was the Teyrn of Highover.
The king told me of his promise. I'm certain he has every intention of following it through. I don't suppose you'll be riding into the thick of battle with the rest of your fellows, will you?
I believe he was being sincere in what he said too, about getting justice against her. I don't know.
If Cailan has his way, you will. Now I must return to my task. Pray that our king proves amenable to wisdom, if you're the praying sort.
And if he doesn't?
Then simply pray.
Loghain doesn't seem to have much faith in the king. Seems like there's some care though.
Look carefully, man. This wretched thing is a Darkspawn. They're strong and cunning and smart, but don't listen to those old wives' tales. They can be killed.
The first look at a Darkspawn here.
Sword enough, and they go down. Their blood is black as sin and poisonous. Don't even touch it. You get tainted with that blood, and you may as well slit your throat. We've lost many dogs already. Had to muzzle them to keep them from biting. It's a long and painful way to die.
Yeah, but it is. Like dying from sepsis, essentially. Blood sickness. Terrible way to die.
This is supposed to be the battle that sends these Darkspawn back underground. You believe that?
I don't know what to believe. We've won every battle, but there's more of them each time.
Makes you wonder if them Grey Wardens are right.
I don't want to think about that.
Sounds like the perfect time to get drunk, if you ask me. The last scouting party made
That
it
is
back
in
last
general a
night.
soldier's remedy.
Barely.
What do you mean?
Only 2 of them made it, and one was minus a leg. Said they encountered some Darkspawn that was 10 feet tall, with horns as long as your arm. The injured one died last night. They said his blood was already turning black.
Maker's breath. Where are they all coming from?
10 feet tall with horns. Keep that in mind. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of unrest in the war camp. Some confidence, and then a lot of people seem unsure. But in general, it does seem like most people believe this is a blight. Hal had some skepticism, but...
The all before me. I shall not be left to wander the drifting roads of the Fade, for there is no darkness, nor death in the Maker's light.
a lot of the warriors seem pretty convinced. There definitely seems to be a general sentiment towards Loghain in this war camp. He seems like a very good boost to morale. You can tell that he just has the respect of the native people.
Darkspawn, different kinds.
I suppose he is a living, walking, talking legend, right? Don't have too much of our loop left to go. Now we're going to meet a faction we also read about in the Codexes, actually, with how King Cailan had united the Landsmeet. There's going to be Ash Warriors that we're going to talk to.
Elf, what's your name?
It's Pick, sir.
Go tell Teyrn Loghain that the war party's ready to begin scouting. We'll send word if we find anything amiss.
Yes.
We're actually going to play a cruel little message on Pick here. Cruel little joke, rather.
Hello? I'm sorry, is there something you needed?
What do you mean?
I deliver messages around the camp. You have a message for me?
Right, yes, I do.
Then what is... Oh, wait. Are you the one I'm supposed to give Sir Garlans Sword to? Because I think the smith's done with it.
You got it. You're absolutely right. Yes, you're supposed to give the sword to me.
Oh, that's such a relief. You really saved me from the switch for sure. I'd best get back to my duties again before I get in more trouble.
No problem, man, anytime. That gives us a really good sword. It is Sir Garland's sword that you get for that. +2 attack and +10 physical resistance. Very good for a sword and board warrior. Or even two-handed, really, if you're using a sword and a dagger or 2 swords. It's just a good sword in general, especially early. It's unfortunate Pick there is probably going to get disciplined for that, but the greater good and all, find the Darkspawn. Better in our hands than Sir Garland, whoever that is.
What do you need? You haven't brought more instructions from the Teyrn, I hope.
Cozy bunch, aren't they? Do you talk to everyone like that?
If I feel like it. If you're not from the Teyrn, what do you want? We're busy.
You don't look like the other soldiers in the army.
We aren't. We're Ash Warriors.
What is an Ash Warrior?
Our training has been passed down since Matthias the Dwarf Son first harnessed the battle rage of the dwarves. It is an old tale.
Can I hear this old tale?
I am no bard, but I will do my best. Matthias was a Clane tribesman. Some said he was too short to be a warrior, but he was strong and fierce. His chieftain sent him to the dwarves of Orzammar to negotiate an alliance, where he fell in love with the king's daughter, Skya, and brought her back to his tribe. She taught Matthias to use the dwarven battle wrath to summon his strength and ignore all pain. Matthias then taught this to the Clane,
He was a
who made him their
berserker.
chieftain.
What happened to him?
Matthias's prowess earned him the love of Morriganna, a beautiful chieftain of another tribe. When Skya learned of his seduction, she returned to her people. Matthias was grieved. He sent Morriganna away, but this only vexed her, and began a long war between their tribes. In the end, Matthias slew Morriganna in single combat. However, his wounds were great, and he perished when the rage ended. The dwarves came from Orzammar that day, and gave Matthias an honored burial in the mountains. And we live by his teachings even today.
What happened to his wife, Skya?
It is said that before the final battle, she returned to Matthias and gave him a shirt of dwarven chain, along with a final night of passion. Then she was gone forever. If she lived on in Orzammar, only the dwarven folk could say for certain.
So he betrayed his wife and killed his lover? We're not actually going to say that. That would be the asshole thing to say. I suspect that might end in a fight, talking shit about the Birthright like that. An interesting legend. Thank you for telling me.
It was an honor.
We're not here to start trouble and cause any kind of unrest in the camp. Don't want to cause a scene here. So what does an Ash Warrior do?
We harness the rage inside us, nurture it, and draw it out so we cannot fall in battle until our last foe is slain. It is a dwarven discipline, but we've adapted it to let us fight alongside our hounds. That is our way. I trust my hound with my life, as he trusts me with his.
I have a Mabari hound of my own.
Then you are most fortunate. A trained Mabari hound is as dangerous as any sword. We do not speak of a city pet, or those things that sit in an old woman's lap.
You can certainly see why, just look at the background. This fucking thing is almost as tall as his shoulder and it's on all fours. What are you preparing for?
To scout the wilds and watch the progression of the Darkspawn horde. With luck, we'll find and slaughter many stragglers. The hunt will be good if my hound survives the blood of his prey. If he dies, I shall mourn tonight.
Survives the blood? What do you mean?
Darkspawn blood is poisonous, but not always fatal. Those who survive grow immune to its effects. The Wardens say that tainted blood drives even the survivors mad eventually. But not today. Today, we hunt and we kill.
Ash warriors seem like savages. Wouldn't it be smarter to leave your dogs behind?
They fight at our side. We don't fret over their safety as if they were children.
Why have you painted your dogs?
They use scent to distinguish us from our enemies. But the blood of battle can confuse them. So we paint ourselves with caddis, which overpowers the blood, and also paint our hounds so they know we are the same.
What if the enemy is painted with caddis as well?
Why? Would you steal our caddis and give it to the Darkspawn hordes?
If the reward was right, why not? I hope you're joking.
If you tried, we would kill you. And that is no joke.
I should be going. On that note.
Thanks. There is hunting to be done, and I'll not be kept from it.
You will leave that before that escalates.
Excuse me, I must get the hounds ready for battle.
It's the kennel master.
Dogs are sick from Darkspawn blood.
The Ash Warriors seem like savages. I like how they fight side by side with the dogs like that too. Pity about the Darkspawn blood being poisonous. Be a lot of lives lost tonight.
He calls. You may not want to remain here long, Warden. Most of these men have been tainted by the Darkspawn blood.
You need to convince them. We've got to run. The Darkspawn are coming.
There are Grey Wardens here, you know.
The Grey Wardens will die. The King will die. We'll all die.
I apologize, Warden. He's been like this ever since they found him in the wilds.
What's wrong with him?
Aside from his wounds, we're not sure. His blood is untainted. He's just terrified.
You can feel it, can't you? They taint the land, turn it black and sick. Oh, you can feel it inside. They'll come out of that forest and spread. Like caterpillars covering a tree. They'll swallow us whole.
That's quite enough out of you. You need to calm yourself, my good man.
They were everywhere. I saw them.
Like caterpillars covering a tree is a very vivid description of how that would work. I'm guessing his patrol got ambushed. It would definitely leave scars on the psyche.
Ah, I suspect you are one of the new Grey Wardens. Will you accept the Maker's blessing?
I will, thank you.
Then I bless you, Grey Warden, in the name of Andraste and the Maker above. May the chant of light carry your name to the ears of our Lord.
There's no reason to turn that down. Whether you believe or not, it would be good for morale for all the men to see a Grey Warden here, even if we're just a recruit. We are a noble, so perhaps it will even help them even more.
Greetings. You must be the third recruit we've heard about.
He is the other recruit. I am. Who are you?
Sir Jory is my name. I hail from Redcliffe, where I served as knight under the command of Arlayman. You have the bearing of a man who knows how to fight. If I may ask, were you a soldier before you came here?
I was not a soldier, but my father did train me to fight.
Are you a nobleman? I am honored to be in your company, my lord. I hope we're both lucky enough to eventually join the Wardens. Is it not thrilling to be given that chance?
I'm curious about the join-in ritual.
As am I. Has anyone told you about it?
Daveth said we might be going into the wilds.
I never heard of such a ritual. I had no idea there were more tests after getting recruited. I suppose since you're finally here, I'd best get back to Duncan. I shall see you there.
I suppose he would have known where Alistair is. Okay, so we met the other two recruits. Let's go find the main man himself. Duncan did send us off to find Alistair, so... But lucky for us, I know exactly where he is. He is over here making some friends. Want my 5 XP first. Well, hey, I found the servant the quartermaster was looking for. Small lass with red hair, right? I believe that's what he said. You can't do anything about that. I've tried. I think maybe there used to be a quest. Or it was, and then they cut the content, because... He definitely makes sure to mention what she looks like, and she's right there next to him, so...
What is it now? Haven't Grey Wardens asked more than enough of the Circle?
I simply came to deliver a message from the revered mother, Sir Mage. She desires your presence.
What her reverence desires is of no concern to me. I am busy helping the Grey Wardens, by the King's orders, I might add.
Should I have asked her to write a note?
Tell her I will not be harassed in this manner.
Yes, I was harassing you by delivering a message.
Your glibness does you no credit.
Here I thought we were getting along so well. I was even going to name one of my children after you. The Grumpy One.
Very sarcastic.
I will speak to the woman if I must. Get out of my way, fool.
That's crazy.
You know, one good thing about the Blight is how it brings people together.
I know exactly what you mean.
It's like a party. We could all stand in a circle and hold hands. That would give the Darkspawn something to think about. Wait, we haven't met, have we? I don't suppose you happen to be another mage?
Don't worry, I'm no mage.
Less being yelled at for me, then. Though the day is still young. Wait, I do know who you are. You're Duncan's new recruit. From Highever. I should have recognized you right away. I apologize.
How could you recognize me?
Duncan sent word. He spoke quite highly of you. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Alistair, the new Grey Warden. Though I guess you knew that. As the junior member of the Order, I'll be accompanying you when you prepare for the joining.
Pleased to meet you. My name is Apparition.
Right, that was the name. So I'm curious. Have you ever actually encountered Darkspawn before?
Have you?
When I fought my first one, I wasn't prepared for how monstrous it was. I can't say I'm looking forward to encountering another. Anyhow, whenever you're ready, let's get back to Duncan. I imagine he's eager to get things started.
That argument I saw, what was it about?
With the mage. The Circle is here at the King's request, and the Chantry doesn't like that one bit. They just love letting mages know how unwelcome they are, which puts me in a bit of an awkward position. I was once a Templar.
You were a mage hunter?
Not that that's all Templars do, but yes, the Chantry raised me until Duncan recruited me 6 months ago. I'm sure the revered mother meant it as an insult, sending me as her messenger, and the mage picked right up on that. I never would have agreed to deliver it, but Duncan says we're all to cooperate and get along. Apparently they didn't get the same speech.
I'm sure the revered mother did intend that as an insult. Templars are essentially the Chantry's enforcers. Holy Knights, yep. Classic D&D paladin types. What about the other recruits?
Daveth and Sir Jory are here in the camp. Have you met them?
Yes, both of them.
That makes things easy then. They'll both be back with Duncan by now.
You don't have to accompany me, do you?
Don't worry. I'll try not to embarrass you.
Fair enough. I look forward to traveling with you.
You do? Huh. That's a switch. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, lead on.
Come on, Alistair. No used to people enjoying your company. Some runes, that's very good. see what we can chit-chat to Alistair about.
Yes?
Tell me a little about yourself.
As I said, I was trained as a Templar before Duncan recruited me about 6 months ago. The Chantry raised me, and becoming a Templar was a decision made for me a long time ago. Duncan saw I wasn't happy, and figured my training against mages could double for fighting Darkspawn. Now, here I stand, a proud Grey Warden. The Grand Cleric wouldn't have let me go if Duncan never forced the issue. I'll always be grateful to him.
You didn't want to join the Chantry?
It just wasn't for me. I believe in the Maker well enough, but I never wanted to devote my life to the Chantry.
You speak fondly of Duncan.
I spent years in that Chantry, hopelessly resigned to my fate. Duncan was the first person who cared what I wanted. He risked a lot of trouble with the Grand Cleric to help me.
I have a few questions for you.
What about?
The Grey Wardens.
So I imagine. What would you like to know?
What makes you all so special?
The Grey Wardens are warriors without equal. Darkspawn threatened to destroy the world 4 times over. Each time, the Grey Wardens led mankind to victory. Nobody knows more about Darkspawn, and nobody's better equipped to deal with them. You'll see. Trust me.
So, they're knights? Heroes?
I don't know if I go that far. Duncan says the Grey Wardens do whatever is necessary to protect mankind from Darkspawn. That means some pretty extreme things. Whatever it takes to bring victory.
Yeah, the Wardens are a morally grey faction, with the ultimate good on their side, however, since, without them the world ends. They will raise an entire village in order to beat the Darkspawn, which is not necessarily purely good, but it is good ultimately. I'm not sure I know anything about the Grey Wardens.
Well, let's see. Surely you've heard of Weishaupt Fortress? The great eyrie carved into the White Cliffs far off in the Anderfels? That's where the Grey Wardens once kept their griffins. The griffins died out, however, and our numbers have dwindled since the last Blight. There's only a handful left in Ferelden. A few more in other nations.
Indeed, we read about Weishaupt in one of the codexes we read before. Where are all the Grey Wardens now?
The others are camped with the King's soldiers in the valley. The King's given us a position of honor at the vanguard, despite our small numbers. I think Cailan is actually excited to ride into battle with us. Maybe he thinks that's what his father would have done.
Who wouldn't be? Legendary heroes and warriors? So the Grey Wardens have the right to recruit anyone?
King Marek, Cailan's father, reaffirmed the power the Grey Wardens were given during the Blights. In practice, we can't conscript too often without hurting our cause. We were exiled from Ferelden once. Best not to let that happen again.
That's all I wanted to know.
You want to ask me about something else?
The Blight Duncan mentioned.
Of course.
So, what is a Blight? Where did Darkspawn come from?
You want the Chantry's version or the truth?
They aren't the same thing.
They seldom are.
What's the Chantry's version?
According to the Chant of Light, the Maker imprisoned the old gods underground long ago, as punishment for tricking mankind into worshipping them. The old gods still whispered to some men and taught them magic. These men became the Magisters of the Tevinter Empire. The Magisters used their gift to enter the Golden City, tainting it and themselves. They were cast out by the Maker and became the first Darkspawn. They fled underground, bringing their taint to their gods. The tainted old gods were the archdemons who rose from their prisons and led the Darkspawn against the world.
And the truth?
The truth is, we don't really know. They come up from the ground, and that's as far as we've gotten.
So what you talked about was the first Blight?
Yes, and it nearly wiped us out. When defeated, the Darkspawn flee back underground and seek out another old god to taint, thus bringing another Blight.
Yeah, the first Blight lasted, 100 years or so? Given that it was a 90-year Blight before the first Wardens were even created. The little stories that he is telling us here really added on to what we read about in the Codex. Like additional information. So where is the Archdemon for this Blight?
We haven't seen it yet. People are beginning to think this is just an unusually large Darkspawn raid without an archdemon to unify them. But seriously, the archdemon could be in the wilds or underground. It could be hiding. Just because it hasn't shown itself doesn't mean it isn't out there.
I'm gonna go with Duncan's instincts on that and take him at his word. Why not kill the Darkspawn when they're underground?
They've controlled the deep roads ever since they defeated the Dwarven kingdoms. Even if we invaded, we can only chase them so far.
What is an archdemon exactly?
The old gods were dragons, so the stories say. Big ones. Intelligent, even. The Tevinter Empire had big statues of them. Each dragon had a name and a place in the cosmos. It's all very intricate. The archdemons may not be the old gods, but they're definitely dragons.
Why are some people so skeptical?
The Grey Wardens killed so many Darkspawn by the end of the last Blight. People decided they were gone for good.
People in their complacency. Better to pretend the bad guy no longer exists. Aside from the dwarves, they don't get to be afforded that. Constantly at war with them and such. I have other questions about the Blight.
Of course.
How do Grey Wardens defeat Blights?
We chop off the snake's head. It's the only way. According to texts, the most famous Grey Warden leader, Garahel, killed the archdemon Underal in personal combat at the Battle of Aesley to end the last Blight. Without the archdemon to command them, the Darkspawn flee back underground.
I believe Garahel is a Dalish Warden commander. How did anyone even know about this Blight?
The Grey Wardens keep watch. We feel the Darkspawn when they come. You'll understand after the joining, if you... well, you'll understand. Not to mention people start to notice when Darkspawn pour out of the wilds and taint everything around them. Just a guess.
Just how many Darkspawn are out there?
Thousands? Tens of thousands? They've had centuries to build up their numbers.
You notice Alistair almost slipped there and told us something he wasn't supposed to.
You want to
can't ask about it, so I guess we won't know. Tell me about Duncan.
Duncan is the leader of the Grey Wardens in Ferelden. Which he would say doesn't mean much, as there aren't many of us here. Yet, beyond that, he's a good man. A good judge of character. I owe him a lot. What about you? What do you think of him?
He seems like a kind man, if firm.
Fair enough. He's done the best he can with what little he has. And that includes me, I guess. You want to ask me about something else?
The joining ritual.
I wish I could tell you more. Maybe ask me again after Duncan speaks to you about it. You want to ask me about something else?
This upcoming battle.
The one tomorrow. I'll tell you. It's Teyrn Loghain we should be looking to win it, not the king. Cailan just wants his place in history. The Teyrn is planning the strategy. That's my opinion, anyway.
So even the Wardens are looking to Loghain, not the king.
Favors us Grey Wardens. But I know who's keeping the lid on the pot.
Indeed. How much will I be participating?
You know, that's a good question. The other Grey Wardens are riding into battle with the king. I don't know if you'll be with them.
It seems everybody here knows that Loghain is the reason why they're gonna win the battle. Why is it happening here, of all places?
We're at the edge of the Korkari Wilds, the eye of the Blight storm, right where the Horde will be coming. Ostagar itself is an excellent defensive position. The Wilders were pushed back from here time and again in ancient days.
What are the chances of success?
I'm sure Teyrn Loghain has the battle planned to the last detail. Still, no Blight has ever been defeated with so little cost.
What if we fail?
If we don't break the Horde here, Duncan says it will spread until it engulfs all of Ferelden. Then it will take an alliance of nations to fight it, which would be bad. Neither the king nor the Teyrn really seems to believe this is a real Blight, however.
That's all I wanted to know.
You want to ask me about something else?
We are gonna double check that we exhausted all these.
Imagine. You want to ask me about something else? Of course.
We did.
You want to ask me about something else?
Okay, perfect. I have no more questions.
Then let's get a move on, shall we?
We have one more little mini quest. As you see there, Alistair approves +2. This is one of the old school RPGs where characters have approval ratings which do affect everything in dialogue. So your companions here can be mad at you, they can turn on you, they can try and take control of the party, they'll try and kill you if you piss them off too bad, or you can make long-lasting friendships. Another really cool part of Dragon Age Origins. That and the party banter, which you'll start to see once we get through Ostagar.
Huh. Someone finally comes and talks to the lone prisoner. I don't suppose you've come to sentence me?
You haven't been sentenced?
No. They put someone like me in a cage until someone important has time to decide what to do with me. I don't suppose you have a bit of kindness in you? All I want is food and water. They haven't fed me since I was locked up and I'm starving.
Whether I have kindness in me depends on what got you put in there. Tell me why you're in there first.
I'm a deserter. Or so they think. I bet there's no arguing them out of it, though. Armies are funny that way.
So they think. Well, did you desert?
I wasn't deserting. But when you catch someone sneaking around camp in the middle of the night, what else are you gonna think? Does it matter? All I want is a bit of food and water.
It does matter, yes. It matters to me if your cause is just.
You're a funny one. They won't listen to you no matter what you think. Not that I wouldn't mind you trying. You're a good sort. And it's not as if they're wrong. I probably would have deserted later. Just not when they caught me is all. Hope that doesn't spoil your opinion of me. I'm still hungry enough to eat my shoe.
Okay. Why would I want to help you?
Because you might want something I don't need. Them circle wizards got a chest they keep things in. Magical things. And I stole the key. That's why I'm here. I got one of them drunk, took his key and tried to sneak to the chest. They assumed I was deserting. I can't use it from here. But I'd trade you for some food and water.
I see, so that's what happened. He's a thief. They didn't find the key when you were arrested?
I swallowed it. But it's, come back into my possession since then, so to speak.
And no food and water, I'm sure that means you, haven't cleaned it much. I'll see what I can do.
Just ask my guard for his. He's still got some dinner. I saw him put it in his coat.
A mage chest sounds like it has a lot of shiny objects inside it that I would like to take for myself.
Lucky dog. You Grey Wardens get to ride with the king while I'm left with the drudgery of guarding this deserter. They should have just hanged him. Put his head on a pike as an example.
Whoa, who is this prisoner exactly?
They say he was recruited before the war up in Dinnerham. Probably figured he'd never have to fight if he served the king, right?
Why did he want to desert?
Why does anyone want to desert? Because he thinks he's going to die and he's a bloody coward, that's why. Either that or he's been listening to a bunch of hogwash about how the Darkspawn will drag you off and eat you.
Oh, based on the codex, they will do that, in fact. It seems a waste for you to guard him all day.
I can't just let him go, can I? The army will figure out what to do with him. Probably just waiting for someone important to make a decision. Then they'll hang him, I expect. And I can go and do something else.
I had a chat with him, actually.
Don't expect it was an enlightening conversation.
He claims he wasn't deserting.
What a surprise. Another innocent prisoner. At any rate, it's not for me to say. He'll get his day to plead his case, or he won't. It's all the same to me.
He asked for some food and water.
Did he now? Since nobody sends me nothing to feed him with, the only way we'll get that is if I give him mine.
So you miss one meal. This man could be hanged soon.
All right, all right. I guess the poor fella could stand to have one meal in his belly before he hangs. Don't know why you care. I had nothing to do with it, though. If anyone asks why he's burping, I'm gonna say it was you. Just so you know.
Now, ordinarily, I wouldn't give a shit about this thief here, and I would just go about my business, but he has the mage key, so...
So? Brought me some food, have you? I'm so hungry I could faint dead away.
Now, we could have just killed him for it, but I think it might be a little debatable for morale if the warden just steps up in here and slices and dices this dude through the cage. Here's some food.
Much obliged. May Andraste herself rain blessings upon you. And, as I mentioned, here's the key. Use it in good health, huh?
Huh. Considering where that came from, let's hope we're not the only ones in good health.
That's a very valid point, Alistair. You get a good opinion of Alistair's character too here, and the fact that he approves of us helping that guy. We are not gonna go do that yet. Trying to open that chest in broad daylight. Especially with Alistair by my side. The Mage Hunter and the new Warden, robbing the mages. Here's the camp.
You found Alistair, did you? Good. I'll assume you're ready to begin preparations. Assuming, of course, that you're quite finished riling up mages, Alistair.
What can I say? The revered mother ambushed me. The way she wields guilt, they should stick her in the army.
She forced you to sass the mage, did she? We cannot afford to antagonize anyone, Alistair. We don't need to give anyone more ammunition against us.
You're right, Duncan. I apologize.
Now then, since you're all here, we can begin. You four will be heading into the Korcari Wilds to perform 2 tasks. The first is to obtain 3 vials of Darkspawn blood, 1 for each recruit.
The Wardens really must be on dicey footing here in Ferelden if he's so worried about upsetting literally anybody. What do we need Darkspawn blood for?
For the joining itself. I'll explain more once you've returned.
Surely you could have acquired some blood before now.
Of course. You must work together to collect the components, however. It's as much a part of the joining as what comes after.
Makes sense. And what's the second task?
There was once a Grey Warden archive in the wilds, abandoned long ago when we could no longer afford to maintain such remote outposts. It has recently come to our attention that some scrolls have been left behind, magically sealed to protect them. Alistair, I want you to retrieve these scrolls if you can.
What kind of scrolls are these?
Old treaties, if you're curious. Promises of support made to the Grey Wardens long ago. They were once considered only formalities. With so many having forgotten their commitments to us, I suspect it may be a good idea to have something to remind them with.
I suspect you're very correct about that. And what if they're no longer there?
It's possible the scrolls may have been destroyed or even stolen, though the seal's magic should have protected them. Only a Grey Warden can break such a seal.
I don't understand. Why leave such things in a ruin if they're so valuable?
It was assumed that we would someday return. A great many things were assumed that have not held true.
I wonder what kind of magic that is, that a Grey Warden is the only one that can break that. Is this part of our joining too?
No, but the effort must be made. I have every confidence you are up to the task.
How will we find this archive?
It will be an overgrown ruin by now, but the sealed chest should remain intact. Alistair will guide you to the area you need to search.
Find the archive and 3 vials of blood. Understood.
Watch over your charges, Alistair. Return quickly and safely.
We will.
Then may the Maker watch over your path. I will see you when you return.
Okay, now we have our first taste of a full party. We have 4 companions here, so real fast before we wrap the episode. I am going to set up a couple things. First of all, we need a bow for certain parts of the next engagement. Alistair, what are you cooking? I believe Sir Garlans Sword might be better. Okay, it's not, because of the mod that we have. He has the Warden gear that we get from this mod. I'm not sure when we come into this. I believe when we become a Grey Warden proper. Okay, so you don't need anything. What you do need, though, is the tactics. So you are going to be aggressive. So what I like to do with my party is set everybody to aggressive. I don't like shield cover. We're just going to get rid of that immediately. Enemy, rank, elite or higher. And we'll have him use shield pummel on it. And then we're going to change this also to elite or higher. I really only like to use their abilities on the elites. It's just a waste to use them on not. So Daveth, we are actually going to set up as an archer. So we're going to have you on ranged. We don't want this. We want enemy somewhere here. Where is it? Attacking party member. Daveth. Okay, so if somebody gets in his grill and attacks him, he's going to use Dirty Firing, which is a stun. Now, enemy attacking main character, attack. And then we go... enemy, rank, elite or higher. Use ability, pin and shot. So he's going to try and pin anybody that is an elite. So that is a pretty good order of priority. First check for elites, then look after yourself, and then attack the person I'm attacking. Jory, he's the two-hander, so we're just going to set you to aggressive. I believe he has Indomitable, so self NA. Activate mode Indomitable. That means that he can't be knocked down. And then as always, enemy rank Elite or higher, Underarms. Enemy rank Elite or higher. And we'll have him use Pommel Strike, which is a stun. So we Sunder Arms, that nerfs the enemy's attack rate, and then Pommel Strike is a potential stun. So that'll be really good for Daveth, for Jory, excuse me. Now, last but not least, perfect. Daveth already has his ranged equipment on. Alrighty, we are all set and ready for the next episode, which will be the Kakari Wilds. Alrighty, that's going to be a wrap for this episode, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. If you want to support the cause and help improve the channel, there's a tip link in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned and I'll see you soon with more Dragon Age Origins. Have a good day, guys.